the song that you usually don't need diesel to start a fire with. There I was, back in the wild again, and I felt right at home where I belong. I had that feeling coming over me again, just like it happened so many times before, so many times. The spirit of the woods, he's like an old good friend. Makes me feel warm and good inside. And I know his name, it's good to see him again. 'Cause in the wind, he's still alive.
Hello YouTube friends, how's everybody doing today? As many of you probably already know, I have been planning a overland trip, gearing up to do that trip, and I thought that I would catch you guys up with what is all going on. This whole thing pretty much started from me watching some YouTube videos, of course. I mean, who here on YouTube doesn't do that, right? And yeah, I use YouTube a lot more for other things than watching drama. In fact, I don't even watch drama pretty much at all. I may catch bits and pieces or hear it through the grapevine, but no, I don't participate in it, that's for sure. But what I do is I do a lot of research. And I did a lot of research on this whole overland experience. And for those who don't know what overlanding is, well, I'll explain it to you. Simply put, overlanding is when you take your Jeep or any other off-road vehicle. It basically started in the Jeep world, but it has grown far beyond that. And you take that vehicle, off-road adventure, traveling, focusing on self-reliance, resilience, and enjoyment of the journey. It's not about camping. You don't go to one destination and set up camp and stay there for several days. No, that's not what overlanding is about. Overlanding is about the trip, the driving part of it. Camping is just a place you sleep at night. Usually overlanders, they'll wake up in the morning, eat breakfast, and they're on the road until 5, 6, sometimes 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. And I have seen some that pull an all-nighter if they're behind schedule. And there's different levels, different skills, depending on how much experience you have and what kind of roads you want to take. Some roads are really tough. Some roads not so tough at all. My overland trip plan for the Wild Rivers Discovery Trail is in the early planning, but this is some of what I have planned. I mean, you can never start too early planning this stuff, correct? I know I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. I love the planning process. The trip is a 223-mile trip through some of the most diverse areas in all of Oregon. The Wild Rivers Trail stretches from the Klamath River in far northern California to Port Orford along the southern Oregon coast. The Klamath-Siskiyou region is a hub of incredible biodiversity, and it's one of the largest wildlands regions in the contiguous United States, with nearly 8 million of its 11 million acres falling under public managed lands. And this is perfect because we'll have dispersed camping whenever or wherever we want to camp. The Klamath-Siskiyou is home to the highest concentration of wild and scenic rivers within the United States, and anglers will find some of the best steelhead and salmon fishing in all of the lower 48. The track passes directly across or through the watersheds of 8 rivers: the Rogue, Illinois, Chetco, Winhook, Elk, Pistol, Coquille, and 6 rivers. And not only that, but dozens upon dozens of tributaries and creeks. So with the proper filtration system, we're not going to have to worry about running out of water. The route is a 3 to 6 day drive on moderate roads to some basic four-wheeling. But with any overlanding that a person does, anytime you go out in the woods, anytime you go out into the wilderness, you never know. There's a high amount of rainfall in this area, so there's probably going to be some washouts, some ruts in the roads. So we will be equipped with plenty of recovery gear. So far, we have 5 vehicles, or 5 groups as I like to call them. Each rig I'm going to count as a group, and each group will be responsible for a certain amount of things. And we figure that each group will take one night of fixing dinner for everybody, and they will be responsible for cleaning up any kitchen gear that they dirty, as each individual group will be responsible for their own stuff, like plates, dishes, silverware, cups, glasses. And if they don't want to wash their stuff, then they can eat off of dirty plates. It doesn't matter. They're the ones that's responsible for whatever they want to eat off of. And each group will be responsible for their own breakfast, lunch, and any kind of snacks in between. It'll only be one dinner that each group will be responsible for. And then other than that, everybody gets to have free time around the fire. That way, each person gets to fix one good meal that they're good at for everybody to enjoy, and then they're done. They get the rest of the evenings off. So far, the plan is that we will be pulling out of camp about 10 a.m. right after breakfast. Our camping gear has to be something that's easy to set up and easy to tear down. On average, should take 15 to 20 minutes per group, and we will be driving until roughly around 5 p.m., and then we'll set up camp again. We will be stopping along the drive to sightsee, to eat lunch, take pictures, videos, whatever it is that we need to stop for. Each rig is going to need to at least bring 10 gallons of fuel, because there will not be any place to fuel up during this 223 miles. So before we start going down the trail, we will top our tanks off, make sure our reserve tanks are all filled up, and each group is going to need to bring at least 2.5 to 5 gallons of water. But like I said, we're going to be around plenty of water. We're going to have a filtration system where we can pump right out of the rivers or creeks. It'll filter 99.99% of bad stuff out of the water. We can fill a 5-gallon jug in about 5 minutes. I happen to have bought a portable projector a few years back, and I also made myself a projector screen. I made it out of a curtain blackout material. It's white, but you can't see through it, and it makes a perfect screen. And we're going to at least have one night where we watch movies, and we'll play games, do whatever. Sit around the campfire, shoot the bull, have s'mores, whatever. All I know is this trip is going to be nothing but just plain old fun. We're also going to carry 2 chainsaws in case we need them. You never know if you run across a downed tree in the trail, or you just simply need some firewood. And speaking of fire, if we have a fire ban and we're not able to have a campfire, I will be bringing a propane pit, so we will have fire one way or the other. Like my friend Rosie said, we don't want to sit around a stump looking at a lantern, which I kind of found that humorous, because I've been there, I've done that. And because we're probably going to have plenty of fishing around us, if the salmon or steelhead happen to be running during that time, it's going to be great, because somebody's going to catch a fish. Rosie's an excellent salmon steelhead fisherman. So is my friend Biff. I'm so-so. If it's bass, I got it. Salmon, steelhead, I'm okay. I know my daughter Megan, she loves to fish. So somebody's probably going to catch some fish. There's at least trout in the rivers. And so if we get enough of them, we'll have a fish fry one night. Right now, the trip is not etched in stone as far as we don't have a set date, because we just can't do that right now. But we're in the planning stage, planning everything out in great detail. I know myself, I have to sell the camper at the beginning of this summer. I need to get a truck topper like a canopy or a contractor's topper and convert that into a little mini camper. And I know some of you, well, Doug, you already have a camper, but my camper's so big and tall and bulky, it wouldn't go down these roads. I'd wind up ripping the top off. And it's just so heavy and bulky, I don't know if I could make it up some of these mountains. And as far as my planning of my camper, I'm going to have on the driver's side, it's going to be my bed platform. And it's going to be 8 foot long by 30 inches wide. Underneath of it, I will have a 5-foot pull-out drawer, and that's going to be my kitchen. I'll pull that drawer out. My stove will be there, all my cooking utensils, pots, pans, everything right there. And that will pull off the back of the truck, off the tailgate. And then on the passenger side of the truck bed, I will have a cabinet that runs from the back of the bed to almost to the front, about 15 inches wide into the height of the bed of the truck. And that will have some cubby holes for storage and everything. It will have a bigger cutout for my power station to put that in there, so I have electricity to run everything. Also, at the end of the bed on the passenger side, I will have a compressor refrigerator, 12 volt, with a refrigerator and freezer, so it's a dual zone. So I could bring some popsicles or something if I wanted to. And that will all run off of my Anker Solix 1000 power station, which will be hooked up to the main battery of the truck. So whenever the truck is running, that power station is charging, and when the truck's shut off, the power station's not pulling any juice off of the main battery, so I won't have any dead battery the next morning. And as far as the refrigerator, because it looks like an ice chest, and it will be on the back end of the truck on the passenger side, and it will be on a drawer slide, so I can slide it out, easy access to it. So I'll be cooking to my left, and right will be my food, and in the middle I'll have counter space, which will be my tailgate, which I'll put a flat piece of wood like a cutting board that's mounted to the inside of my tailgate. And of course, I'm kind of spoiled having my camper. I don't really camp anymore, I glamp. Not afraid to say that anymore. I used to rough it, hardcore camp my whole life, but the older I get, the not so much fun that is anymore. So I'll have my memory foam bed. I'll have my TV DVD player, my stereo system back there. So I'll be all set up, be as snug as a bug in a rug. And of course, my best little buddy, Ringo, he'll be right there enjoying all of this with me. And 3 of my best friends and my daughter and her fiance. I also need to think about safety and thinking worst case scenario if something happens to somebody, because we're not going to be where we have cell phone coverage. I will be investing in Zoleo, which is a satellite communicator. So it basically you connect your phone to Zoleo, and you're able to go through the satellite system to be able to make an emergency SOS, send text messages, receive text messages, also be able to track where you are. And each rig, each group will have 2-way radios so that we can talk amongst each other while we're driving down the road, in case somebody has a flat, somebody sees somebody's vehicle with something wrong, or somebody needs to stop to go to the bathroom, or somebody's vehicle broke down, they don't get left behind, or just fun chit-chat. And I could go on and on and on. I have been spending hours upon hours going through everything. I even had to take a refresher course on how to properly maintain and take care of my cast iron skillets. It's been so long since I've used them, so I wanted to make sure I didn't thrash on my cast iron skillets or my Dutch oven. So as you all can see, I am jacked up about this, and I got a long ways to go. And no, I will not burn myself out. I just get more intense as time goes on. I'm always like this, getting ready for a trip. Did this with my Alaskan trip. Did this when I went to Nevada to do a family documentary on my parents and where I grew up and was born. So I just have always learned to plan everything out, because nothing worse getting out there and you forget something. Something big, something small. I mean, I forgot can openers. That sucks. To no way to start a fire. One time I forgot my shoes. The only shoes I had was what I was wearing, and that sucked. So yeah, I make a checklist. I check it twice like Santa Claus, but I'll do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And I rarely anymore forget anything unless it's something that just wasn't on the list. So anyway, that's my plan. That's what's going on. I will have all my camera gear, my video equipment, GoPros, everything, all the gear that I bought when I was doing the bass tournament thing here in the state of Oregon. I had invested in about $10,000 worth of camera gear to be able to record, show live, the whole 9 yards. So this gear is going to come in real handy for this trip. I'll be recording it all and a lot of editing, and then I'll get it out there for you guys to watch if you're interested. So anyway, I'll go ahead and end this. Have a great day, and talk to y'all later.